Hey everyone, Ahsoka Tano here, and welcome to Ask Kaminar, episode 329. If you have a question or topic for next week's episode, leave in the comments section below, and I just might pick it. But yeah, this is the episode that was supposed to be episode 332. I skipped a few episodes on accident, and I was like, it's the Halloween edition. Let's just wear the costume anyway. So, yeah, let's get into our first question from Greedo. He says, what would be a box art you would really want to see on the 2025 Revenge of the Sith sets? Maybe a tribute to the OG Flames and Vader from 2005. I love the idea. It's obviously an idea I think everyone would subscribe to. However, Lego Star Wars is not Black Series. Black Series seems to do this sort of thing all the time, and they recently did it with the Clone Wars boxes, where they brought back the old box style for the Clone Wars anniversary. They did it for the Phantom Menace, and so I love seeing stuff like that with Black Series, and it's something that, you know, I haven't bought a lot of Black Series recently, but if the Revenge of the Sith Black Series come out and there's a bunch of them like that, it's going to be hard for me not to want to collect that sort of thing. As far as Lego Star Wars is concerned, I wouldn't expect anything special outside of what we have seen in the past few years where they put a little badge on the side of the box. I'm on board with you, but Lego Star Wars is very sterile with its box art these days. You are not going to get a 2005 Revenge of the Sith box art remake, rehash, or otherwise. As much as I'd love it, as much as you'd love it, and what I would want it to be, it's just not what it's going to be, assuming we're even getting that right in 2025. But I think the recent Black Series reveals are very telling that Lego Star Wars should also have something celebrating the Revenge of the Sith anniversary at some point next year. So fingers crossed. Jake's Bricks and Picks says, Gascano promo is already selling for over $80 on eBay. It took me 3 tries to finally get my receipt accepted. I literally had to circle in red the set number, the date, and the total price, and it was definitely a PETA. Oh, I know what that means, but I finally got it to work. You know, so I picked this because of your very first sentence that it's selling for over $80 on eBay, and I just don't understand why. Because it's still one of those things that's currently available. You only have to spend $65 on Walmart, and then you get it for free. Usually when there's a promo that's currently available, let's take the Luke's lightsaber. It's a really good recent example. It was only available if you bought the $500 UCS sail barge. So you have to spend $500 to get it. There's no way around it. Much like Gascano, right? You have to spend $65 to get it. But usually the price of the promo is less than the threshold. That just makes sense. Like, that's how it should work. And for some reason, this one is the opposite, and I don't understand it at all. Dallas says, would you rather get every Lego Star Wars set from the past for free or all of the sets for the next 25 years for free? So we'll just assume that when you get the sets for the next 25 years, it's on release day. There's no other stipulation with it. You're not getting it early. You're not getting it late. You're just getting it on the release day. So basically every year of Lego Star Wars sets, in my head, it costs between $2,000 and $3,000 at retail. You know, it can depend on if there's a big set. Obviously, over time, inflation will bring that number up, or if they produce more sets, or if they produce less sets, that number can change. But let's take $3,000 as our baseline per year for Lego Star Wars sets. You're looking at 25 years, it's $75,000. Simple math problem here. On the other end of it, you get everything else from the past for 25 years. And earlier this year, I had the amazing opportunity to sell one of every Lego Star Wars set, brand new, sealed in box, on a Whatnot stream. I think altogether, they might have sold for close to 200,000 or somewhere in that 200,000 range. And even if it was 150,000, obviously you're at least double. So yeah, simple math problem. I'll take the old sets, I'll sell them for the money, and then buy the new sets, and then still have money to invest in whatever I want on the stock market or something, right? Or buy a car or something stupid, you know? But yeah, definitely just simple money problem to me is that I would take the old sets because it would be worth more money. Next question from Garbage Archive, great name, says, how many of the same clones makes a proper Lego Star Wars clone army? So I think whatever you want in your life matters. I mean, if you think 2 is an army, that's your army and you're happy with that, that's it. Doesn't matter. I don't think there's a proper way to do it. I've never put that on my channel or talked anything about that. The closest thing I have come to that, quite fittingly with this episode, is with my Legion of 332nd Troopers, because Lego made the 332nds that look good from 2020, and so I wanted to have the proper amount of those, because I had 200, and I was like, 200 is overkill. All right, maybe even 100 is overkill. But I found a good middle ground, and I cut it down to 144, which is an odd number, but I think 144 is the canonical Legion number of troopers that the 332nd, Ahsoka's Legion, happens to have. And so I sold off the 56 extras that I had, and I kept the 144. And to me, that was the proper amount for a Lego Star Wars Clone Army. But quite frankly, for you, it could be 2, could be 10, doesn't really matter, you know? And that's my point of answering this question, is like, you just should do what you want and don't worry about what me or someone else thinks when it comes to your collecting habits. It's your collecting habits. But if you do want to be really scientific with it, the only way that I could theoretically see to look at it to be proper is to look at what things are in the canon of Star Wars, although good luck with that, because when it comes to certain ones, I think it's in the millions, and that just ain't happening for any of us. Whatever works for you and your budget and your desires is what really matters. Next up from Galactic J, he says, what was your first video to reach 100,000 views? Keep up the great work. Now, I'm not 1,000% sure on this, but I think I have a great first video that reached 100,000 views. It was actually the second video that I uploaded to this channel, but it was my 2010 Clone Army. I got really lucky. It was one of those random thumbnails, I think, and I just had a really good random thumbnail where it shows the clones really well, because this was still early days of YouTube, Lego YouTube. I didn't still really know what I was doing, and so I just got a really good, like, lucky thumbnail, showed off the clones real well, and I think there might have been like 200 clones, but it really honestly looks like a lot more with Palpatine at the front. Just looks really sick. I still got a lot of people that watched that video and subscribed back in the day watching the channel, but I think it like set me on a good direction. It got me a good kickstart. It says 276 subscribers over the years. Back in the day, 276 was quite a considerable amount, considering like the biggest Lego channels at the time maybe had 20 or 30,000 subscribers. Not everyone can get that lucky, right? Sometimes it takes longer to have a video that you feel like does well. Now, by today's standards, like, you know, this is kind of nothing and whatever, but back in the day, this was a really nice start to the channel. Friendly Guy says, if you had to pick between 2-2-in-1 sets for timing this year, which is better, the Fang Fighter versus TIE Interceptor or the E-Wing versus Shin Hades Starfighter? I would love to see a full-on comparison video about it. Thanks for the amazing reviews. Ooh, that would be a good comparison video, but I'll give you the short answer here nonetheless. I think the best ship of the 4 in those 2 sets is the TIE Interceptor. But I think the best set is the Shin Hades Starfighter versus the E-Wing set, because I think both of those builds are really nice and cool. I don't care much for the Mandalorian Fang Fighter. Honestly, it's not a bad build, whatever, but it's just like, unmemorable. You barely see it in the show. But to the E-Wing and Shin Hades Starfighter, I think those are still both excellent builds and models, and they look great. They'll look nice on display. And I think the figures in that set are way better. The TIE Fang Fighter figures are just nothing burgers to me at this point. You know, you had the Darksaber at the time, which was new and exciting, but it ain't new and exciting anymore. That one has also been on sale for much cheaper. They've been like $73. I think I've seen the TIE Interceptor set for like $80. So if you're talking value too, that one also checks that box as far as like current price, not maybe necessarily the retail price, $10 more expensive. But yeah, the sales have been quite good on that. And it's from our favorite show, the Ahsoka show. Max Mox, great name, says, dude, did you see the Rise of Skywalker minifigure in the new Lego Star Wars Encyclopedia? Will it be in future sets? The mock potential is unreal. Very mock-minded here. Yeah, so will it be in future sets? No is probably the short, good answer, because no other Lego Star Wars minifigure from a book has been in a set. When it comes to these character encyclopedias and the visual dictionaries, they are exclusive minifigures. You will have to buy the book to get them. That's just been the historical norm. Nothing wrong with that. That's just how it is, you know? So yeah, the figure itself looks amazing. I totally, like, total left field minifigure. This would have actually been a great 25th anniversary figure. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that actually would have been one that fit, like in Fives' place maybe, or young Leia's place. But he's also really great for this book. It's such a great figure for a book. I actually hadn't looked into it too closely, but it looks like he's actually using the dress leg piece, which makes a lot of sense. And he, of course, has the pupilless eye look, but it makes a lot of sense for a zombified Palpatine, unlike many of the other characters that don't have pupils. So it's not a problem here. So I think it's a great looking figure. Also, it looks like he's gray. You know, kind of like the OG 2005 era Palpatine. I always love the gray Palpatine, so this one to me is a hit. And if you want to buy the book and, of course, get the Palpatine minifigure with it, it doesn't come out until April 1st, but I actually got it up for pre-order on mnrshop.com, which is like insane to be able to say. Retail price is $21.99. It should ship around April 1st and arrive to you as soon as possible. I only have them for US only. We won't be doing these internationally because the shipping becomes way more expensive, and if you live internationally, to just buy this book from your local place, it just makes more sense for you. I'll put my Amazon affiliate link in the description below. You can get it from Amazon. But if you want to support the channel, we got wholesale with DK Books, so you can pre-order it from us. I just think it's pretty dang cool that we have the ability to do that, and actually a bunch of people already did pre-order it from us, so shout out to you guys and thank you. Next question from Brent says, they stopped convention exclusives and now there is a US only Walmart GWP for their biggest IP worldwide, it's unfathomable. Well, there are a lot of things about LEGO that are unfathomable. So yeah, welcome to the club. It's been years of that type of thought for me. When it comes to this sort of thing, you should know my position. I think there should be, GWPs or convention exclusives that are rare, that are hard to get, that you or I are going to have to spend a lot of money to get. I just think that sort of thing is cool for collecting. I think it's good for the hobby, for there to be a higher tier of items for people to chase after. I think it's good conversation. In a way, it is very good to have something that is tougher and harder, or in some cases, there are things that I want that are impossible to obtain that I may never own, and it sucks, but it does give you something to chase after. A great example of this is earlier this year, something you might not even be aware of, and it's something that I still don't own, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to bother owning. It's one of those stupid things. It's not even a LEGO thing. It's a LEGO Star Wars 25th anniversary coin that was exclusive to Brazil. I have no idea how they were handed out, but they go for like hundreds of dollars when they are for sale online. And so, yeah, there are plenty of little things like this. Obviously, this Walmart thing is very mainstream, but there are lots of little GWPs that have been region locked this year. This is just the most notable one. And I feel like a little perspective would be good for you here. So when it comes to some of the convention exclusives, we're talking about 1 of 1,000, right? And to be able to get one of these convention exclusives, someone has to either live near or fly to, stay in a hotel, pay for the ticket, hope they win the item to be able to get that convention exclusive, right? This Walmart GWP is not on the level of convention exclusives. They've probably made tens of thousands of these, right? So just for starters, there's 30 or 40 times the inventory on the market. Super, super easy to get compared to getting a convention exclusive, So I think from that perspective, this isn't as bad as convention exclusives for people that hate exclusives and things. Like, these are much more obtainable. I don't know. There's totally a ton of different opinions out there. My simple opinion is just I like having rare and exclusive things, even if it's not something that's really easy for me to get. My only story for this really is in 2017, I went to the only Star Wars celebration I've ever been able to go to when it was here in Orlando, and I still couldn't get the LEGO Star Wars convention exclusive. But I still think they should exist. I've had that experience, and I still think they should exist. Now we just get nothing instead. I just rather have the thing exist, even if it's 1 of 1,000. Now it's 0 of 0. So that's my take there. A little long-winded, but yeah. Black Daddy says, why do you think LEGO has been completely ignoring Phase 1 Clone Troopers recently, and when do you think we'll see another Phase 1 Captain Rex? So I guess if I had to guess, Phase 1 probably wouldn't return next year because it's a Revenge of the Sith anniversary, and most of the clone sets they do would probably be Revenge of the Sith if they do clone sets. So you're really looking at 2026, 2027 for them to start touching on Phase 1 again. I would just wager to guess they made some decision to go full in on Phase 2 at some point for the foreseeable future, because they made that really great helmet mold and they really wanted to get their money's worth out of it. But I'm sure at some point they will return to Phase 1 troopers, and the sooner the better, because they will look way better than some of the Phase 2 ones they've been putting out. Amazing Spider says, do you think it's LEGO's fault that some of their sets are getting smaller? And so in a way, I think everything LEGO does is of course LEGO's fault. Just like anything that I would do in my life would be my fault. Like, I have my own free will to do what I want. LEGO has its own free will to do what it wants. And so when LEGO makes sets smaller, LEGO made that decision. And yes, by that thought process, I would say it is their fault. I do think, though, that there are a lot of factors at play when it comes to making a LEGO set, some of which that I wouldn't even know about and you wouldn't even know about. And so, to that end, maybe there are some external factors that we don't know about that are forcing them to make them smaller, but ultimately they could just make things whatever size they want, right? What I really wanted to get to with this is that I don't think that LEGO making some sets smaller is bad every time. Like, having a smaller X-Wing and TIE Fighter, although the TIE Fighter I think looks pretty bad, the X-Wing in a smaller form factor at a cheaper price makes a lot of sense. And making a Star Destroyer a little bit smaller, as much as I wish it was bigger, makes a lot of sense. Not making it $200 and making it $160. It's just better for most people, for the majority of people. And of course, there are opposite examples where sets have gotten bigger, like Jabba's Sail Barge recently got quite a size increase. Of course, the price comes with it, but LEGO probably wants to keep things under certain price points as best they can. Of course, over the course of the long term, the prices are going to go up no matter what because of inflation. So, noble goal, but good luck keeping your X-Wings at $50 and under. It's just not going to stay that way forever. I mean, the core of my answer to your question is yes, it is technically their fault, but there are reasons that they do it, I think, that are fair and not crazy. It's not dumb that they made the new Sith Infiltrator $70 and smaller than the last one, but at the same time, Would it look better if it was bigger? Sure. Cloud City Calrissian says, why did LEGO stop making LEGO Star Wars clothing? I'm looking at these cool t-shirts they made in the early 2000s and wondering why they don't make them anymore. I would love to buy some, but they only have the Harry Potter merchandise. So I think back in the early 2000s, they made some real high quality ones. And as recently as 2020, 2021, 2022, they were still making different LEGO Star Wars like clothing merch, because I had some fans come up to me at a convention. They were wearing some cool LEGO Star Wars shirts. And I was like, where'd you guys get those? And they're like, Hot Topic. I think Kohl's also carried them at the time. And so they unfortunately just weren't the same quality as some of the older stuff was. I bought the Revenge of the Sith one specifically, and I don't even know if I've ever worn it because I got it and it was just like, it just doesn't look good. Versus back in, you know, the mid 2000s, you had this Millennium Falcon one that I was very lucky to find a like mint version of on eBay at some point, and the quality of it is insane. Now, would that quality stand to the test of time in the washing machine? Probably not. I had that one as a kid. It probably didn't do so great. I remember it started to crack and stuff, but you know, there's a middle ground there. Comfort colors t-shirts with a nice print would go well for LEGO Star Wars. Boomy says, why do you think LEGO has not made a set from the Acolyte yet? I thought it might have been because of the poor reaction to the show, but LEGO usually releases sets before the shows or movies air. Not always. They don't always release things before, and so obviously this will be a case where they didn't release it before. Obviously we have a set like the Skeleton Crew set, which has been out for 3 months and the show is still not out. But yeah, it definitely can go both ways. And in this case, I would imagine they would have seen the writing on the wall ahead of time for the Acolyte, or been more skeptical about it perhaps, and that's why we didn't get a set. Because you'll remember the Skeleton Crew set we actually had rumored to release back in January, so that one's been sitting around for a while. So I don't think they had anything in the pipeline for the Acolyte anyway. Maybe that'll pop up next year, I don't know. I recently went to Walmart and saw the lightsaber kit that has some of the Acolyte characters on top, but there's not a lot of other Acolyte merch out there anyway. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of it because they canceled the show. Next question says, why are the LEGO Star Wars ads just not as fun as they used to be? I don't know what you're talking about. I think the LAN LEGO set reviews are really good. You are off your rocker, man. PCP Robot says they should make a UCS Cloud City, and your question spurred a thought for me that has made me realize what the next big subline for LEGO Star Wars should be. And it's something we've talked about a little bit on the channel before, but a LEGO Star Wars architecture subline akin to MIDI scale, right? So you've got MIDI scale, but then the next adult subline of LEGO Star Wars, not maybe named architecture, but LEGO Star Wars architecture. So a UCS style Cloud City build, maybe it's only $120 instead of $500, but something that's nice and displayable. It doesn't include figures or anything. Maybe it includes a figure or two, right? But it's very much a display oriented set where it's the actual like outer shell look of Cloud City. The way it looks silhouetted would look very, very cool as a build. Of course, the way that I think they should do the Jedi Temple is in a architecture style build for the Jedi Temple. And, you know, Coruscant Skyline, I think I've seen a mock of before. There's just so many great things you could do with an architecture style mindset for LEGO Star Wars. So for those of you that don't know, coming up this weekend, at least as of the release of this video, November 2nd and 3rd, I'm going to be at Brick Convention in Greenville, South Carolina. I'll have the link in the description below for information on that. If it's in your area, come by, say hi. And Hero Hour, with that in mind, asks, will you be charging for your autograph? Please don't charge over $200. I hope to get a pic with you as well. Will you charge extra for a pic and an autograph? So, you know, if I'm wearing this costume, I would expect, you know, $300, $400, $500, and maybe $500 is still too cheap. You know, who wouldn't pay for a picture with this? On a non-joking answer, no, autographs are free, pictures are free. Anytime at a convention, if you see me, say hi, we can chat, I'll take a picture, I'll sign whatever you want. I've signed really crazy stuff. I've signed someone Xbox before, and I thought I had to really make sure they wanted me to do that. And so, yeah, if you want me to sign something, a Lego set, a Lego figure, you know, I will do that for you. The only thing, of course, is that you have to buy a ticket, which I think for these brick conventions is $15 for a session. And then if you use code MNR3, $3 off. So, like, pretty reasonably affordable at $12. So I'm really stoked to see some of you guys over the next couple of weeks at the brick conventions that I am going to. Again, I'll have the link with information in the description below. If you enjoyed this very spooky edition of Ask M&R Productions, please hit the like button. This costume was not cheap. We got to pay for this somehow. Got to pay for it in likes. So please hit the like button. If you have a question or topic for next week's episode, leave in the comment section below. I might pick it, and I will see you next week. I'll probably film like on location somewhere because I'm going to be out of town. So yeah, I don't know, this costume is absurd. Let's just revel in this for a moment. The similarity is just stunning, right? It's pretty spot on.